some audio. You guys hear me? Anyone? Yes? No? Okay. Hey guys, this is Rod Haza, the associate producer on Wizardry Online. I want to welcome you guys all to the webcast today. Some of you guys may have seen me in game from time to time as Dartalk. I try to stop in and say hi from time to time. A little more, please. Better? We'll see. I hear nothing. Oh, I'm getting okay saying that's good there. So the idea behind the webcast is I want to give an opportunity for you guys to learn a little bit about the game and where we're currently going. Kind of give you guys a little bit more information. So to get things started, what I actually want to do is bring you onto our QA server, which is the publish that we're going to have tomorrow, and give you an idea of what to expect tomorrow a little bit. Of course, it helps if I actually use the right mouse. Let's go to that. There we go. Welcome to Wizardry Online. So, a few things that we've got going on tomorrow. Not a huge update for us, but it does have a few interesting little things for you. First thing I want to actually talk about is we've been doing some evaluation of the game, getting an idea of how the US market is enjoying the game and some of your feedback from it. And one of the things we're going to experiment a little bit with is actually the drop rate within the game. So with the publish tomorrow, you're actually going to see this new buff added to your bar. Everybody that logs in is going to get this buff, and it's going to give you a 15% increase to your drop rate. It's something that we're going to experiment a little bit with, so we may raise that, we may lower that, as we see how it affects the game economy and the balance within the game. So it's one of the additions that we're adding in based off of feedback from the players that we've seen. We'll see. We'll see how that drop rate ends up being. In addition to that, a few of you guys have requested getting the clear set and the newbie equipment set back on the marketplace. That's going to happen tomorrow. So anyone that's interested in taking a look at that and buying that, take a look at our marketplace. You'll see it. In addition to that, another thing that we're going to add to the server is a special sale this next week. For any of you guys that actually have life material sitting around in the bank right now, this is going to be your opportunity to visit that temple and purchase some of that life material items at a 25% discount. So we're going to reduce down all of those items and make it a little bit more accessible to you. That's going to be available for 2 weeks, and we'll see how that affects the server. So that's the majority of our update. We also have the Gothic doll sphere. A few of you guys have been interested in that blue dress or that top hat outfit. That is also going to be showing up on the server tomorrow. Something else, let's see, what else we got going on? So that's our initial update for tomorrow. Going on from there, a few of you guys have had questions about our content and where we're going from our content. We are going to have another dungeon released in the very near future. That dungeon is the Rune Chamber. Just for the heck of it, I will zone in there real quick, give you a quick little preview of it. Not going to play through much at all, but we'll give you an idea of what it looks like. Has to wait through the lovely zoning screen. Near future means soon. That doesn't help much, does it? So the Rune Chamber is actually, to give you a little bit of storyline behind it, an area that is run by, gosh, I can't remember his name offhand. But he's been experimenting on various different creatures and animals within the world, and we'll be seeing a few of those. Sorry, make myself so I don't actually die here, because dying will be bad. And we'll just run through the dungeon a little bit, give you a little idea of what it looks like as I get lost, because this place is a maze. And throughout the dungeon, you're actually going to find a number of test subjects that this particular person has been testing on. And you're going to find these individuals have interesting little stories behind them. A lot of the testing that you've seen that has happened on these NPCs and these different or NPCs, we'll use NPCs, have been psychologically a little bad for them. So you're going to find a few interesting little stories behind these NPCs. This will give you an idea of a little bit like the dungeon. The place has a lot of traps in it, a lot of creatures, and again, it's a maze. I got lost so many times running through this place. So that gives you a basic idea of what to expect in this next week or so. Let me exit out of here real quick. If I can remember where the exit is. Give me a second. Something else we're going to be having, I don't know if you guys noticed in the distance when I first logged in there was an NPC that had an event tag on him. That's something we're also going to see in the next week or so. A few special events for the players to mess around with a little bit and entertain yourself on the server. I'm not going to go into too much details on exactly what that event's going to be. You should find out a little bit later this week. I am so lost, so I'm not going to be able to get out of here. But that's kind of a preview of what to see this week. The next thing I actually wanted to show you guys is a little bit more of a preview of what to see. We're looking at more 3 weeks to a month away, but it's an idea of what we're actually doing for our future updates. I'm going to jump onto another one of our servers real quick and give you a little preview of what to expect with that one. Just a moment. I suppose I could have returned to town, except I think I used it earlier. While we're waiting, feel free to ask questions in chat. I'll do my best to actually keep an eye out and answer those as we see them. This password's 1234. It is not. There's a 5 in there. Come on. What stats affect steel? I don't know. Yes, the blue dress is in a sphere. When can we expect bishops and lord? In the near future. Okay, I shouldn't use the word near. It's really not that near. To kind of explain a little bit about how our system works, I don't know if some of you guys follow their forums or not. I've been posting a few replies to some of the questions. The big thing that you see with our particular title is we are behind the Japanese server. The reason we're behind that Japanese server is we have localization to handle for any of the text within the game, and also the versions are different in many ways. As we found with this particular update that I'm actually logging into, we got our initial build of it, and it was pretty well broken. So we had to do a number of fixes to actually get it to be playable and be usable for the US market. This causes us to be behind the Japanese server. We are going to be pushing forward and getting much closer to them. Right now we're roughly a year and 2 months-ish behind them. We're hoping to get that as close as 2 to 3 months behind them, but we'll never get any closer than that. I said Japanese. Oh, let's see. Okay. We'll go not into that character. So the big things we're actually going to see... Hey, this is not where I want to be either. With this next update, and not when I say our next step, our next major code update, which again is going to be roughly 4 weeks or so to a month, depending upon when it's ready, available to the players. This will be a code update. We'll actually introduce new systems into the game, which will allow us to, let me grab a new character, actually see some of the changes that you've seen on the Japanese servers show up on the US server. Any details on ancient magic? It's available at level 30. Okay, there's the item that you're actually going to see in the blue sphere. Okay, where's the forge? Okay, first thing I'm going to start out with is the forging system is actually introducing a few more new systems into the game with this major code update. You just don't have the items to do it yet. They'll show up, don't worry, they'll be there. The first thing I'm going to show off is actually the special forge system. So you'll notice when you open up the forge, I've actually got several different tabs up here. The regular repair one, your normal forging, the special forging, and the grafting. One of the things you'll notice, text, not so easy to read right now. That's some of the examples of things that you see on our non-prod right now, because we're still working on updating the server and getting it to fit the US market. One of the problems that we've had is Japanese language. Pretty much if you have 8 characters in the US language, you can pretty much say almost anything you want. So their UI supports that for 8 characters. We have a hard time doing that with the US and the English language. So it requires them to make modifications to the UI. These are things that take time, and part of the reasons that we're behind the times when compared to their server version. So the first one I'm going to show off for you is the special forging. What the special forging does for you is allows you to make items a little bit more accessible to each of the players. So what you can do is take those items and make them lower level than the requirements that are currently on them. So, actually, I'm going to switch back. I'm going to go to grafting first. Because if you just happen to have a ton of King's Helms, for examples. Grafting, so let's give me an example here. The grafting right here, I've got a King's Helm here that has a circle gem. So if I have that circle gem, let's start by actually putting that in there, just because I want to actually have one. So we'll throw the circle gem in there. Now I've got my plus 20 hit points on there, which is great and wonderful. The problem is my friend just went to the dungeon, came out, and gave me a new King's Helm. This new King's Helm has a diamond slot. A lot of people would prefer that diamond slot over the circle slot, and the only thing I could do with that would be to destroy my gem and start using that diamond slot one instead. What this special forging, actually grafting, is going to do for you is it allows me to put in our original King's Helm with the circle gem in there, put in my secondary one, and what it's going to offer me is the opportunity to make that into the diamond gem. With, of course, the material. Where's my material? I hit some somewhere. Luckily, I'm using good material, so it won't cost me, or fail. So I've taken that one right there and made that into a diamond slot. It's kind of useful. It certainly has some advantages to it. The real big advantage that you actually have with it is if you were to forge that item up and you graft it over. So if you have a +7 helm and you already had, and then you got a new helm that has better slots on it, you want to forge that over using the grafting system, you'll keep that +7 forge on it as it goes over. What do I have on here? Then let's go over to the special forge is going to allow you to power things down. It does destroy the gem in there if you don't support that gem socket type. So if I had a diamond going into a 2-diamond one, I would keep the 1 diamond. So what the special forge is going to allow you to do is actually lower the restrictions on items. So if you look at this King's Helm that we have here, you can see that it's currently a fighter item, level 18, soul rank 7. So if I was to take this one, and I just happen to have a surplus of these sitting around, I throw an extra one in, the exact same type of item, and I do the forge on it, and we go back to the same one, you will see right there, it now has a special forge level 1, which removed it down from that level 18 to a level 17. A good example of what you could do is the one I've got highlighted there. Is that particular one has the diamond slots, has +40 hit point gems in it. They're there. You just can't go at them yet. Someday you'll get the 40s. And I've reduced down the special forge level down to 5. Or, well, down 5 from the 18 to make it a level 13 item. Which allows you to basically make those items more accessible for whether it's twinking out other players or even twinking out yourself when you do your class changes, making them more available to you. That's a good question if it breaks when it fails. You know, I haven't actually failed at all. As long as you're using the right material, you shouldn't have that problem at all. I don't think I've actually seen any... Well, we can try it and find out. Maybe. I think we're gonna succeed every time. Oh! Yes, it destroys it. There's your answer. Fun, fun. So, we've got the special forge, which allows you to lower that level of the items. We've got the new grafting system, which is going to allow you to transfer those gem sockets over. And that's two of the major system changes that you're actually going to see with this major code update. Let's see, what's a few other things that I can throw out there for you? We'll show this to you really quick. As you may notice, I've got a diamond gem there. A lot of people don't necessarily like those diamond gems unless you're using them for your magic attack or a little bit of magic resistance. You may notice these have a few different stats on them, such as physical defense, physical attack is actually in here. What else we got? OD recovery, weight, magic chance, decrease dash OD. There's a number of different useful triangle gems that you're going to be seeing coming up in our next code update. It should be very interesting to see how that affects the players' abilities and how they use their different gem sockets. What else can I tease you with a little bit here? I'll highlight over that. I'm currently on a fighter. I've currently got a skill called Hard Blow, level 5. One of the things you're going to see with the next code update is new abilities for every one of the classes. Some of them have 2, some of them have 3 or 4. Those abilities are going to become available to the players with that next code update also. Potentially in a future webcast, I'll go into a little bit more details and explain to you what those abilities are and how they're going to affect the game. But that'll be one of the additions that you'll be seeing. What else can I show you real quick? Fire Attack 15 gem. Nobody wants those, right? I don't think those are in the next update, though. Potentially in the future. Some other things that we're going to be doing is the build also focuses a lot on trying to bring players to be more accessible to the game. Code update should be roughly a month-ish. We'll see. As soon as we can get it ready, we'll get it out there, but we want to make sure that it's not going to break the game when we put it out there. So some of the things we're actually going to do to try to make the game a little bit more accessible to players, a little bit more interested in coming on a daily basis. We found that a lot of the low-level players are having trouble finding equipment at times. Some of the things we've looked at is that 15% bonus to drop rate that we're going to be putting in. We're going to be adding in Soul Rank 5 items to some of the vendors. Some of those will be accessible for players. We're going to be going through and making quest items a little bit more accessible in some of the dungeons, so you'll see the drop rates a little higher on those. We're potentially, this was up for debate a little bit, of adding a few different types of heal potions to potentially the store that you could purchase for gold, maybe. It's some ideas that we're throwing around still, and we'll see where those end up. I'll tease you with one last thing in this particular area. I won't go into details of it right now, but if you happen to be watching my screen a little bit, let's go over here to the missions, because missions are cool. I like missions. I like missions even more if they offer you a bonus. So potentially what's going to be in there is what the Japanese server has already is bonus daily missions, so that when you go through and complete a mission for the first time that day, you'll receive double the gold and double the experience. To promote the idea of you coming in and trying out the various different missions that are there and available to you, and giving you a little extra reward for logging in each day. Get out of there. Let's see, what else do I got for you? That's a quick overview. I've got a few other things that are there, but I'll cover those in the future with some articles for you. Maybe tease you a little bit on the forums with some. Let's see, that's the main things I wanted to hit with the webcast. So let's try some questions if you guys have some that you want to throw out there in chat. And I'll see what I can do to answer some of them for you. Do all the missions. The missions are going to be once a day. You'll be able to go through and do each of them, I believe. I haven't actually played with the system myself much. We're talking about a free respec with the new abilities when they come in. That hasn't been completely decided yet, but there's a good chance that we'll offer that opportunity. Will it be possible to actually write Japanese language characters in the game sometime? I don't think so. What level's the new dungeon? I think it is 24. I think. I'd have to actually check that for sure. Rentins for individual sale. No. I know you guys would like to see those for individual sale. One thing you may notice if you pay attention to our mystery crates or our spheres in-game is that nothing in the spheres are actually for sale on the marketplace. There's a reason behind that. So anything you see there is very much unlikely to be on the marketplace, or we'll never have it in a sphere again. We are looking into the Badges spheres, or not the Badges spheres, the Badges Forge Guards. We are going to put those onto the marketplace and make those available for you to buy directly. So if you're not interested in purchasing it through the Expert Armor Forge Kit, you'll be able to buy those directly. What's the max number of times you can see? Max number of times we can drop an item's level requirement? 5 times. So you'll be able to lower it 5 levels from its previous level. No, I can't go to the dungeon guide to confirm the base level of the dungeon. It's not currently available directly on the server right now. I have to zone to it in order to go to it. Sorry, reading through these makes me very quiet. Drakant, why is the marketplace so much more expensive in the US than the Japanese version? You know, I'd have to get details from you on exactly why you feel it's more expensive. If you go through and take a look at the marketplace, a lot of the items are actually less expensive on the US market than the Japanese one. One of the things you want to keep in mind when you're looking at their Royal Shop is that they have a 1 to 10 conversion rate on their currency, where we have a 1-to-1 ratio. So anything you look at in theirs, you need to multiply by 10 in order to equal out to what ours is. Code update, what's the date again? I don't have an exact date for you. It's going to be roughly a month. We want to make sure that it is a good build before we put it out there. How much is 1 RC in yen? You get 10. I'd have to check it again. I believe it's 10 for 1. Cola? I'd like cola. What else we got here? What Lazuka asked was quite interesting. I might have missed it. I don't know what she asked. He asked. When is the next SC sale? I don't know, honestly. I know it's something we usually do company-wide and stuff, but I don't know of one right off the bat that I can tell you about. It's certainly something that we do from time to time, so keep an eye out for them. When are you going to have a stat gem vendor? Probably not ever. For the most part, all of the gems come off of NPC drops. We want to promote the idea of going out and adventuring in those dungeons. Everything we put on the vendor slows that down. Our fighter's going to get an AoE taunt insight in the near future. I might be able to answer that question for you. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, yes, if you read that, you actually see insight. It's one of the things that's coming up in the near future. So yes, they will be getting it. What just happened? My screen just went black. Ah, there we go. I can see. What else we got? I got a few more minutes here. Why not? What can we do with all the dupe clothing from the spheres? Can you make them tradable? That's a good question. The answer about tradable is no. I really wish I could, but making those tradable really promotes the idea of fraud. I hate to say it that way, but it does. One of the things we are going to do, though, is in your next sphere that is coming out for the Gothic doll, is you're no longer going to get it as a single piece. If you get rewarded the vanity item, you will get the whole set at one time. That will help reduce down the number of duplicates you see with it, so you're getting it at one time. We've considered doing some kind of trade-in system, but that's up for debate and figuring out whether we can or cannot do. Oh god, look at all the text. What else we got on here? Maintenance is scheduled, I think, for 8 a.m. tomorrow, PST. Can other classes be as strong as thieves? Each class has their own abilities and playability to it. Right now the trap thieves are a little bit strong in some ways. They're going to find in a couple of dungeons coming up in the near future that they're not quite as effective as they may think they are. So there's going to be some challenges for the trap thieves out there that are going to bring out a lot more of the fighters and mages out of the wings to help out. What are the changes to the criminal system in the near future? I don't know. I wish I did know for you. It's one of those areas that I haven't spent a lot of time researching on what's in our future bills for the criminal system. I don't foresee a lot of changes to it, but it's certainly something that we can bring up to the full development team and see if they've got any changes coming up in the future. I'm not going to read that one. Any chance we can test where spheres, avatars, no real shop? You know, I'd have to actually look into that to see if there's some way we can do that. Currently there's not, but the one thing you can do is click on the sphere page and there's the view drop list. If you click that, it'll actually bring up a site that'll show you what it actually looks like. For example, here's the old page, which I haven't updated yet for the new set, and it'll give you an idea what it looks like on each of the classes. Or races, I should say. Close button. I don't think there's anything we can do for Virago to make him a better player. Oh, how do you lose black if you don't get caught? What? I don't understand the question. A few people have posed questions about lowering or getting out of criminal state. It's something we've considered and looked into a little bit, but the biggest concern there is that we want to make sure the players are rewarded and also disciplined for becoming a criminal. The reward, of course, gives you that extra freedom and the ability to go out and attack anybody you want, but in the same token, you're going to get a penalty system in place that is going to limit some of the things you can actually do in game. We want to make sure that there is that feeling of, I'm trying to think of the right word to use, accomplishment of actually succeeding and surviving as that criminal, but on the same aspect of that, we want to make sure that you have penalty behind it. It's kind of the design of the game. Making it easier to do is going to push a lot more of the idea of people becoming criminal when they really don't want to be or want to participate in the actions of being a criminal. So we're reluctant to make a lot of changes to how that system works. We're certainly up for suggestions and thoughts on it, so we can consider that and see if we want to change it a little bit. Oh, let me scroll through here real quick. I got a few more minutes we can waste. What else we got here? You said Vegas guards will be sold in the shop. I'm assuming you mean Rentons will not be sold in the shop anytime soon. That is correct. You will get the Bagus Forge guards actually tomorrow. We'll put them in tomorrow. Why not? You'll be able to get them with that update. Dark Child Black. I have no idea why if you loot an item that's a master item you can't equip it yourself. Seems like that should flip that flag, but that also seems a bit exploitable. It would be a good way to transfer an item. So I'm guessing that's the reason, is to prevent the exploit of transferring the master items once they're equipped. If you were to loot it when it hasn't been equipped, you would be able to use it. guildmate attacked me and turned criminal. Well, don't have your guildmate attack you. In order to attack you, he had to have turned on the option to allow him to attack another white player. It's a choice he made. Is there a way to put costumes in the shop without the availability to buy them? That sounds like the same question I was looking at before. That way we might be able to mix match. All the costumes that you can buy directly in the shop are there. The spheres ones are not. I'll have to look into some way to do that. I just don't know offhand functionality wise how to make that happen. I'll have to think about it a little bit. I became a criminal at soul rank 1 for healing a criminal. Can you do that? I thought you couldn't do any PvP until you're soul rank 2. I'm confused by that. Any new hidden battles? I don't think we have any new hidden battles, but I think a couple of the hidden battles are going to get updates to their itemization a little bit. I'll have to research that to find out which ones for sure. Once we actually have the build out, it'll be included in the patch notes. Okay, let me find one or two more questions here, and then we'll finish this off for today. Discount on copied pieces we get. Trade them back to the store. That's something we've considered, of putting some kind of trading system for the avatar items you get out of the spheres. Whether we get that in or not, I can't say for sure, but to prevent that in the future, we're also going to be giving the items as a full set instead of individual pieces. Any larger parties in the future, like a raid system? Currently on the Japanese version of the game, they just released a dungeon, the Manor of Love and Lust, I think is what it's called, and it's a 6-man dungeon. We certainly would love to get it in our game also, but again, we're always going to be a little bit behind the Japanese team, so I would anticipate seeing that dungeon probably closer to Christmas or so, maybe. It's hard to say, it's kind of a long-term planning. But we are aiming at getting ourselves much closer to where the Japanese servers are. Looks like the questions are kind of slowing down here, so let's call this the end of the session today. I want to thank you guys for coming and visiting me for the Wizardry Online webcast. It's been great having you guys here. I hope to have another one of these in the semi-near future. I just got to find a time I can put it in there and make sure I've got some cool stuff I can tell you about. I am making it a point to jump on the forums and chat with you from time to time, so feel free to post on the forums. I'll do my best to stay alive and communicate with you. So, gonna say bye. See you guys. Thanks again for coming out and joining us.
Sony.